Hello. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the stories. Today I'll tell you the story of how toxic parents cancelled my 18th birthday. 18 is a beautiful number. It sounds like a key to adulthood, a bank card in your own name, your first car, doors that open without someone saying, "We'll ask your mum." I imagined that day as something warm and noisy, friends in the backyard, string lights under the palms, Grandma Rose's chocolate chip cookie recipe, and music loud enough that neighbors would forgive us until 11 at night. I had planned it, prepared it, baked it, set it up, and yet I ended up alone. The morning began the usual way, fridge door slamming, Mum's syrupy voice dripping sugar over scolding, "Don't forget to put the lemonade on ice. Oh, and fix that branch, the balloons are bending it down." I nodded, dancing barefoot across the cool tile, adjusting the last garland. The house smelled of cinnamon and roasted almonds. Sweet steam drifted from the oven, and on the counter sat plates of my mini burritos, the recipe I was way too proud of. Around 9, Amanda appeared, 23 years old, perfect curls, a smile rehearsed for Instagram stories. In her hands, her phone. In her voice, thunder. The night before, flights across the southwest had been cancelled due to storms, grounding her trip to Los Angeles for some influencer event she'd bragged about for weeks. She wasn't supposed to be here. Her absence would have been the best present of all. But fate kept her in our house, and with her came the sharp smell of hairspray and bad moods. "If I can't have fun today," she announced without looking at me, "then no one should." Her words fell like a plate, shattering shards of meaning scattered, and she walked away like nothing had happened. I didn't realize how serious it was. I had cookies, garlands, a guest list. What did she mean no one should? Mum froze at the sink, but said nothing. Dad glanced from the living room. "Amanda, don't start." But the scene had already started, just not in front of me. It played out in texts. While I sliced limes and arranged ice in the clear plastic bowls, my parents were quietly typing on their phones. "Sorry, we have to cancel. The party's postponed. She has a migraine. Please don't contact her until tomorrow. I'd find out later." At the time, I still believed my evening would shine like fireworks. By 6 o'clock, the backyard glowed with fairy lights. Under the canopy sat a table with a white cloth. I adjusted plates, rearranged napkins for the 10th time just to keep busy. I put on the playlist, checked my phone. No notifications. Okay, traffic, I thought. 7 o'clock, parking issues. 8, this is weird. 9, panic. I went inside. My parents lounged in the living room, watching Netflix, cups of tea in their hands like nothing was wrong. "Where is everyone?" My voice cracked. Did something happen? Mum paused the show and didn't even pretend to feel guilty. "We cancelled," she said flatly. "Amanda's having a rough day. She's very fragile. It would've been cruel to party." Dad nodded like they'd discussed changing an air filter. "Everyone will understand, son. We told them you had a migraine. Rest. We'll celebrate later." You had a migraine? They'd told everyone not to call me, to keep the silence airtight. There's hot anger, bright, blazing, words on fire. And then there's cold anger, when the world steps back and a dome of emptiness rises inside you. Under that dome, I saw all 18 years at once. The last slice of pizza, always fairly given to Amanda. New hoodies off limits because they matched her aesthetic. Weekends surrendered because Amanda has a shoot. You can babysit the dog. I had accepted it all, stepping back, swallowing down, convincing myself they were just small things. But small things add up to a lifetime. "She's an adult," I said, my voice trembling but steady. "She's 23. I only turn 18. Once. And you cancelled everything behind my back." "Keep your voice down," Dad hissed, glancing upstairs. Amanda finally fell asleep. That was the dagger. Not even now, not even after ruining my birthday, were they worried about me. Only about her nap. Footsteps sounded on the stairs before I could answer. Amanda descended in silk pajamas, a runway model entering the stage, hair flawless, face calm, eyes smug. "What's all the noise?" she asked, her smile thin. "Oh, right. Your little party." I told her everything calmly at first, then louder, raw. She tilted her head, feigning compassion. "I'm suffering," she said, flipping her highlighted hair. "If you can't empathize with me, maybe you're not ready to be an adult." That was the final door slamming shut inside me. The anger I'd been holding back for years finally broke through. I lunged at her, fingers tangling in her flawless hair, the air filling with shouts and the crash of toppled chairs. For once, Amanda wasn't the untouchable golden child she was just a girl shrieking in silk pajamas. My parents rushed to separate us, dragging us apart, voices sharp and panicked. That's when the doorbell rang. The sound cut through the chaos like a blade. Dad opened the door, and there he was, Grandpa William. Tall, stern, pressed khakis, polo shirt neat as if he'd stepped out of an ad. But his eyes, sharp, unyielding, were fixed on the scene behind me with my hair tangled, Amanda clutching her scalp, my parents frozen in panic. What the hell is going on here? His voice shook the walls more than our fight had. Silence fell. For the first time, even Amanda didn't have a comeback ready. Normally, I would have swallowed it down, kept the family business private, but something inside me cracked open. I told him everything. Not just about that night, but about years of being second best. The hand-me-downs, the favoritism, the constant sacrifices, the cancelled birthday was only the final straw. As I spoke, his expression shifted: confusion, then shock, then a fury I had never seen in him before. Is this true? He asked, his voice low and dangerous. My parents stammered, but before they could spit out excuses, he cut them off. I've been supporting this family financially for 3 years, he thundered. Every month, I've sent you money to keep this house, this business, this life. I even paid for this birthday party, the one you cancelled. The room tilted. My parents had never told me. I thought I was helping a family raising both daughters. With love and fairness, Grandpa continued, his voice heavy with betrayal. But clearly I was wrong. Amanda, in her infinite arrogance, thought this was her moment. She stepped forward, chin lifted. You don't understand, she said, smoothly. My trip was cancelled. I'm devastated. Having a party while I'm suffering would have been cruel. Grandpa stared at her like she had spoken in a foreign language. You're 23. You think your tantrum outweighs your sister's 18th birthday? His voice dropped to a deadly quiet. You think the world revolves around you, don't you? For once, Amanda had no answer. Then he turned to me. His words landed like a rescue rope. Aviana, pack your bags. You're coming with me. The room erupted. My parents begged, pleaded, their voices desperate. Dad, please, let's be rational. We can change. We didn't realize how it looked, but their eyes weren't on me. They didn't plead for me to stay, they pleaded for his money. That was the moment I knew I was never the loss they feared. I ran upstairs, my heart pounding, stuffing clothes, books, and the few possessions that were truly mine into a suitcase. When I came back down, Grandpa was waiting by the door. We walked out together, his hand firm on my shoulder, my parents' voices echoing behind us. I should have done this years ago, he muttered as we stepped into the cool Arizona night. Grandpa's house in Paradise Valley felt like another planet. Wide open spaces, sunlight through tall windows, bookshelves stacked with leather-bound cases. It smelled of wood polish and freedom. You'll stay here as long as you need, he said over dinner that first night. Through the summer, through college, however long, you're safe here. For the first time in years, I believed someone actually cared about my well-being, but my parents didn't give up so easily. Bye. The second day, the calls started. Texts, voicemails, even emails, each one dripping with desperation. We realized we made mistakes. We thought you were stronger, more independent than Amanda. That's why we gave her more attention. She needed it. Please come home. We can fix this. Every message was the same. Excuses wrapped in guilt. They weren't worried about me. They wanted me back to restore Grandpa's financial support. I ignored them at first, but after a week, I finally broke my silence. I texted my father. I know you only want me back for money. If you really care, prove it. Amanda is 23. If you want me home, she needs to move out permanently. I had no intention of moving back, no matter what, but I wanted to. See if they'd ever choose me over her when forced. The silence that followed was answer enough. Days passed. No response. Meanwhile, my life with Grandpa flourished. He asked about my dreams, helped me research scholarships, cooked dinner with me, and most importantly, listened. One evening on the patio, he said, I'm proud of you. Standing up for yourself took courage. You'll go far. For the first time, I felt seen, but peace didn't last long. 2 weeks later, Amanda showed up. I spotted her waiting near the school parking lot, leaning against her silver Honda Civic, arms crossed. I froze. My friend Tyler, a linebacker built like a tank, immediately noticed my discomfort. You want me to walk you home? He asked. Yes, I whispered. Amanda followed us down the street, 20 feet behind, her heels clicking like a metronome of dread. Finally, I turned. What do you want, Amanda? I need to talk privately, she said, glaring at Tyler. Not happening. Her voice sharpened. You're tearing this family apart. Mum and Dad told me about your ridiculous condition. You want them to kick me out of my own home? You're selfish, jealous, psychotic. I smiled coldly. Funny you said the same words on my birthday. If I can't be happy, no one should. Now you get to taste your own logic. I turned to walk away. That's when she snapped. Screaming, she lunged, shoving me face first onto the sidewalk. Pain tore across my arms, but before she could do more, Tyler yanked her off like she was. Weightless, I stood, fury burning through me, and slapped her hard across the face. My voice was ice. If you ever touch me again, I'll press charges. And after everything you've put Mum and Dad through, do you think they want assault charges? On top of it, her face drained of color. This time, she didn't follow. When I told Grandpa about the attack, he was ready to call the police on the spot, but I stopped him. She's already crumbling. That slap was enough. She won't try again. He frowned but trusted my judgment. Then, for the first time, I told him about the condition I'd given my parents. Amanda moves out, or I never come back. Instead of being upset, Grandpa actually chuckled. Brilliant strategy, he said. Now we'll see what their priorities really are. 2 days later, the answer arrived. The message came while I was eating breakfast at Grandpa's oak kitchen table, sunlight spilling across my cereal bowl. My phone buzzed with a text from Dad. Short, brutal. We've decided to let Amanda continue living with us. You've shown us you're not the kind of person we want influencing her. We only wanted you back for your grandfather's support, but your mother's brother has agreed to invest in our business. We don't need you anymore. I read it 3 times. My hands didn't even shake. I showed Grandpa. He just shook his head. Well, that settles it. At least you finally know the truth. But my parents weren't finished. Hours later, another text arrived. We're blocking you. You're a horrible, heartless, ungrateful person. After everything we did feeding you, clothing you, sending you to school, you act like we're bad parents. You should be thanking us for the bare minimum. I blocked them first. For the first time in my life, I felt free. Life with Grandpa blossomed. He covered my college expenses when I earned a partial scholarship at Northern Arizona University. He encouraged me to study psychology, saying, "You'll use what they did to you to help others." Tyler became more than a friend, he became my anchor. We went to prom together, danced until the soles of my shoes nearly wore through, and he told me he'd wait even if our colleges were in different towns. Meanwhile, karma worked fast on my family. Word spread quickly among our relatives. Grandpa wasn't silent. He told everyone why he'd cut my parents off. My father's side of the family stopped speaking to them. Old friends in Scottsdale whispered about the favoritism, the manipulation. Invitations dried up. My parents lost. Not just money, but reputation. And Amanda, the golden child, finally felt the weight of reality. Without the endless financial cushion, she was forced to move out into a small Tempe apartment. Rumors said the influencer dream had fizzled, and her fragile emotional state wasn't so glamorous when she had to pay her own bills. I watched it all from a distance, not with glee, but with clarity. They had chosen her again, and lost everything in the process. Months passed, and my new life blossomed like spring after a long winter. My studio at Grandpa's house turned into my sanctuary. I decorated it with little touches that were mine alone: string lights, posters of bands I loved, books stacked in teetering piles. No one rolled their eyes. No one told me it was childish. For once, my space reflected me. Grandpa and I grew closer than I ever imagined. We cooked together. His famous chili became my favorite comfort meal. On quiet evenings, we sat on the patio overlooking Camelback Mountain, the desert sky bleeding into gold and violet. He told me stories from his years as one of Arizona's top criminal defense attorneys about the cases that haunted him and the victories that saved lives. "You're stronger than you know, Aviana," he told me once. "You carry scars, yes, but you also carry wisdom. Don't ever let anyone convince you otherwise." At college, I thrived. I joined study groups, made new friends, and even got elected to the psychology club's leadership team. Tyler visited every weekend. Sometimes we'd drive back to Phoenix. Other times he'd surprise me with flowers on campus. For the first time in years, I laughed without guilt, but every so often, shadows of the past reached out. One evening, while scrolling social media, I saw Amanda posting selfies in her tiny Tempe apartment. The background was stark, no luxury. No designer furniture, just bare walls. Her captions tried to mask the truth, but I could see it. The golden glow had faded, and my parents. Word trickled back through relatives, bills unpaid, arguments louder, isolation deeper. The house that once felt like a fortress of favoritism was crumbling without Grandpa's money. I didn't celebrate their downfall, but I also didn't mourn it. They had made their choice. Over and over again, they chose Amanda, and in the end, it left them with nothing. One night, as I lay in bed in my quiet dorm, I realized something. For 18 years, I had fought to be seen, to be valued, to matter. But the truth was simple. I had always mattered. They were just too blind to see it. Now, I was building a life where I didn't have to beg for love. A life with people who chose me without conditions. That was my real birthday gift. Freedom. Write in the comments what you think and what you would have done. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to subscribe.